Welcome to DRTSPR channels. This is Dr. Tangella Shiva Prasad Reddy alias Dr. TSPR. Namaste, Adab, hello. పెద్దలు పూజ్యులు గౌరవనీయులు ప్రొఫెసర్ కె పురుషోత్తమ రెడ్డి గారికి బివి సుబ్బారావు గారికి సాదర స్వాగతం. చాలా రోజుల తర్వాత, ఎందుకంటే ఈ ఛానల్స్ స్టార్ట్ కావడానికే మూలం పెద్దలు వీరిద్దరు. ఆ రోజు కోవిడ్-19 సమయంలో ఈ రాజకీయం పక్కన పెట్టి శివప్రసాద్ బతకడానికి ఏం కావాలో అది చేయన్నారు పురుషోత్తమ అన్న. మన సుబ్బారావు గారు అయితే ఒక స్టెప్ ముందుకు పోయి హైదరాబాద్ డెమోక్రసీ ఫోరం కిందనే మనం అన్ని చేయాలా, డిఆర్టీఎస్పీఆర్ ఛానల్స్ దానికి అనుబంధంగా అన్న తర్వాతనే సిటిజన్స్ డిఆర్టీఎస్పీఆర్, ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్ పీపుల్ డిఆర్టీఎస్పీఆర్ ఛానల్స్ ముందుకు తీసుకొచ్చారు. ఎందుకంటే చరిత్ర, పర్యావరణం లేనిది గాలి లేదు, నీరు లేదు, మన సమజీవనం లేదు. సో ఆ సింబయాసిస్ విత్ నేచర్, దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ డిఆర్టీఎస్పీఆర్ ఛానల్స్ ఆర్ ఆల్ అబౌట్. ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్ ఈస్ ది predominant aspect and how to safeguard environment. Then Purushotham said legal issues also, legal rights are also more fundamental and important. Enlighten the citizens about the symbiosis of their life with nature and their rights. Article 51G and Jepkutu, because we are a people participatory constitutional democracy, highlight the issues, enlighten so that society will become enlightened. Then the choice is theirs, because we are independent politically or otherwise. We have no vested interest. It is the enlightened citizens, voters, who have to take the call. Our duty is to put all the facts in the public domain. So in that pursuit, Save Himalayas campaign, which we have started with these two great gentlemen in December. After that, now we have seen mainstream channels started to show that. That is why in continuation of Save Himalayas, we are taking the crown. I'll show you the crown of Himalayas. What is happening with the crown of Himalayas, Ladakh? Other the political demands, we are not bothered. We are least bothered. We have no interest or vested interest. Let politicians and political parties, those people take it. But when the survival itself becomes difficult, and that is the time, again, people have proved in India and Ladakh, apolitically, when they took up environment issues, save the mountains, that is the time this movement has once again become the focal point of entire Himalaya region. Because we have been doing series of shows, right, Himalayas to Assam, downstream, all northeastern regions. What if Himalayas get destabilized? What if in the name of development we try to interfere with the loose baby mountains called Himalayas? Sir, this is the one. Subba idi cheppandi. I'll just show you what is happening in Ladakh, how people have come onto the roads in thousands asking the government of the day and even the opposition, because opposition is shirking its responsibility in trying to understand the core issues, basic issues. That is why we again salute the people of Ladakh. Now they are going to be the torch bearers to save and protect mountains, environment, and our life symbiosis in symbiosis. Sir, cheppandi sir idi Subbarao garu.
No, you go ahead, sir. You go ahead.
So this, about this diagram, you explain to the viewers. I've just shown you.
Actually, you see, the Himalayas, which extend from northwest to northeast of India, it's a natural barrier. Telugulo చెప్పాలంటే కట్టని కంచుకోట అంటారు.
Wonderful. Wow.
It's a natural barrier, and makes our people who want to venture make misadvantage to enter into India. And second thing is, this northwest to northeast has the highest percentage of geo-bio social cultural diversity. Ladakh is not similar to Mizoram, and similarly Nagaland is not similar to Arunachal Pradesh. It's very different. I was wondering, and through this channel only, we conducted several discussions on river origins. This is the classic example at the global level where more than 35 rivers originate in a diversified geo-bioclimatic diversity. People should, why people were going? You know, right from my childhood, my mother used to tell me about the Manas Sarovar and the hot springs. Why people were going there? It's a sacred place of rivers. We worship rivers. The moment we think of Himalayas, it's an emotional, spiritual attachment to all the Indians. It connects slowly to the plains of India.
Yeah.
And other thing is, this is the largest water reservoir globally. Politically, it may, divide, cross through or abut 5 countries: China, Pakistan, Bhutan, Nepal, and India. But the climatic conditions of this Himalayas do not recognize the geopolitical boundaries. Even Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and other parts of Russia, erstwhile Russia, they also enjoy. So we should, today what we are focusing is, last 36 years we are talking that environment does not recognize the geopolitical boundaries. Rivers may originate somewhere, but pass through several states, districts, political boundaries. Today aspect is Himalayas, how important Himalayas are, and their connectivity to millions of people in this globe. Thank you, sir. We will move.
Yeah. Today's show is being sponsored by Convergence for Sustainability, Hyderabad Democracy Forum, and of course, DRTSPR Channels is the media partner. I'll just show you what is happening. We are not bothered about the political aspects. Let me reiterate again. Political ambitions, we are not bothered. We are bothered about climate, environment, sustainable living, and how people are fighting for that. And he is on a 21-day fast now, Sonam Wangchuk, and he has been demanding so many other things, including the Chinese intrusion in the area, but alleged takeover of land by corporates. This is what his main concern. After he stated this, everyone started to support him. The Kargil Democratic Alliance called for it. This is how they started. And slowly it has petered into the ploy to sell our mountains. Activist on Union Territory tag for Ladakh. People are asking whether declaring Ladakh a Union Territory was that is different. To sell our mountains to industrial lobby and mining companies. This is what is the disturbing aspect. So we are not going into what BJP has promised, what Congress is doing, because we are least bothered about that. What we are trying to look into is, will Ladakh be the same if the development activities go on disturbing the mountain, they are baby mountains nomenclature. Can people of Ladakh survive there? What is the effects of such disturbed development, which is not at all sustainable to India, and very neatly explained to so many other countries are also part and parcel of it. We will just try to see if it is apolitical only, I'll play. And if it's trying to play someone, we are not bothered.
You can see the frost on my sleeping bag.
Surviving only on salt and water, his hunger strike is on its 15th day. To expose the extent of Chinese intrusion and takeover of land by Indian corporates, he has announced a march of 10,000 Ladakhis.
We'll actually do an on-ground check, a border march. On 27th March, a day after I end my fast, if I am informed, we'll travel to the border, showing you live footage along with nomadic leaders leading us. Some 10,000 Ladakhi people will march to the borders.
Wangchuk has become the face of the mass protest in Ladakh. Thousands took to the streets of Ladakh to protest despite the harsh cold. Ladakhis observed a complete shutdown last month. Wangchuk has been fasting since March 6 in the open in sub-zero temperature in Leh.
And here, this is the glass of water.
Air pollution is to over 8 million, and this is what is happening. That's fine. And I don't want to go beyond this. How air pollution and if you disturb our nature, what is going to happen? So we are not going to get into that. Purushotham now.
Yeah. Now, before Purushotham Reddy garu, sorry, there are 4 issues I would like to place before Professor Purushotham Reddy.
Yeah.
You see here, the major issue is the kind of negative impact which is creating across the Himalayas on unscientific developmental activities. In fact, myself and Professor, we had the great opportunity of conducting 15-day workshop to NEPCO engineers in 2015, wherein we could bring out a lot of lacunae gaps in the Himalayan. The most important thing people across the country should understand is this natural barrier is unlike a granite formation. It's an young geological formation still under the growth. It has highest degree of eco-fragile sensitivity. And most of the zones, the very interesting thing is, with such a diversified and harsh climatic conditions, the people from northwest Ladakh to northeast are surviving. They know the art of water harvesting. They know the art of agriculture. They know the art of horticulture. They know the art of livelihood.
Wonderful.
And disaster management. I wondered, you see, I had the great opportunity of, invitation from the institute to visit Ladakh also after Kashmir. So, I have not come across one biodiversity register in any of these villages.
Shocking.
The country is suffering from another pandemic, what is called tourism.
Yeah.
Spiritual tourism,
Yeah.
pilgrimage tourism,
Leisure.
health tourism. If somebody comes here for treatment, do we call that as an tourism and make money out of that? Where is the humanity? Where are the ethics and values in this system?
Yeah.
The tourism on the name of tourism.
Right.
The whole thing. So this is the major issue, Dr. Purushotham Reddy garu. I have not come across. I was so sad to see a cement retailing shop in Ladakh, but whereas 100% of the houses, including the Royal Palace, is built on mud technology.
Wow.
We talk so much of Indian heritage, Indian technology, Indian culture. Why are we not showcasing the traditional knowledge of these tribal communities? It's a very rare. We are not looking into these aspects of the because we do not know, we do not understand what is development. Okay.
Right.
And few things, recently I got connected with more than 40 groups in Himalayas. The major problem in Himalayas today is the blasting and tunneling. Lot of dust, it raises in the air. Because of cold conditions, it does not settled down. So their horticultural crops, their edible crops, including the human health, is getting affected because of this blasting unscientific technology. I have not come across any report, but I have the video clipping of the people talking about this. So many of them thinking, and what I felt is, we started in 2015 on Himalayas, and then to try to revive back during the COVID period, and then after Char Dham disaster. But the most important thing is, are we understanding this live mountains?
Yeah, I think
the climate of life.
Yeah, Purushotham,
Thank you.
Yeah, Purushotham will take it, because he has been teaching us on sustainable development. What a better example Ladakh would be to the, not only to the India,
entire Himalayas,
entire world, how they have been surviving in such harsh climates. This is what sustainable living or development. Anna, please.
Yeah, thank you, Subba, for the wonderful opportunity given to me. I am also grateful to Dr. TSPR, Shiv Prasad Reddy garu, for the relentless work he has been doing continuously. What we are witnessing in Ladakh is a realization of the local people that their existence on a sustainable basis in future is now threatened. I have seen the video just now presented, and there I noticed two important aspects. One, land grabbing by China, and the second is attempt to transfer land to the corporates. Both are injurious to the health of the Himalayas. Particularly when we look at the later corporates taking over the natural resources. I have done a little research on this about 1 hour ago, and I realized that there is a clandestine, some kind of a conspiracy between the corporates and the political parties in India. And there is always a constant attempt to transfer the mineral resources to the corporates. This has nothing to do with whatever political party is in power, whether it is UPA or NDA. Believe me, friends, it has been going on for more than 30 years now in a very big way. What the Ladakis are demanding right now is that they want to be incorporated or enlisted in the 6th schedule. That is where I also support that argument, because a great majority of the people of Ladakh are Adivasis and tribals. And they have a right to organize development, as rightly pointed out by Subba garu, what is known as the traditional wisdom, the time-tested knowledge, which has been transferred from generation to generation. People have been living for hundreds of years in a symbiotic relationship, because when modern technologies were not there, people used to observe more closely into the background ecosystem. And that is how we, the people living in this country, we have extraordinary knowledge of different ecosystems. So the people want control over their lives and livelihoods in Ladakh. Coming to the things which we have already been discussing in this particular channel under the aegis of Hyderabad Democracy Forum, the Himalayas, as pointed out by my friend, are very, very sensitive ecosystem. In fact, as already explained, they are the latest in the formation of mountains in the entire world. Whether you take the Rockies or the Andes or the Alps, the Eastern Ghats and the Western Ghats, or any other mountain formation in the world, compared to them, the Himalayas are more recent and they have come into being, as everybody knows, because of the movement of the tectonic plates. And right now, it is something like a work in progress. It is still continuing to consolidate, and we can never say that this consolidation is completed. Meanwhile, we, the people in this country, we have awoken to freedom in 1947, and we have our constitution from 1950. And we, in the governments that came into being right from 1950, they always felt that India has been relegated to background, poverty. We were denied our right to development. Therefore, we have been overtaken by some of these countries, particularly the Western countries. So, not wishing to lag behind, our people, without understanding what development is, we started aping the West. As a result, all those things which we, the people in this country, particularly political elites, thought and are supported by our typical economists, they have promoted a kind of development model where the corporate is at the center. Friends, recently the Himalayas have been speaking to the people of India. In fact, they have been complaining. For example, last 3-4 years, if you look at what happened at Chardham, Himalayas definitely sent a message that it cannot anymore take the burden of so-called development and so many hydroelectric projects, the tunnelization of the Himalayas and so on. And what happened in Chardham was one of the early indicators in recent times. Subsequently, Uttarakhand, so many landslides and so many things went wrong. And in fact, even one tunnel collapsed. Sikkim, I think it was a warning signal to the entire world that if humanity, in their greed to develop, in their hurry to develop, if they pursue their greed, then Sikkim gave the example of what happens when the glacial lakes burst. But still, we the people, we never learn any lessons. This is very important. Hum to kuch sabak sikhte hi nahi. That is, we are beyond repair. And in fact, particularly India, of all the countries in the world, we witnessed the world's worst industrial accident in Bhopal. And then I can tell you, friends, that we have not learned any lessons from Bhopal. We are limping, we are moving from one disaster to another. Particularly my friend Subba Garu has been pointing out about the ecocide in Bangalore. How many times he has gone there and he told them, but people are people. In their rush to develop, they have destroyed a beautiful city. 70 years ago, Bangalore was almost like a garden on earth. But today, it's becoming another Cape Town. Same thing you witness in Hyderabad and so many other metropolitan areas. Looking at the air pollution of North Indian cities, it is now very clear that these governments are not committed to the protection of the environment. And people are protesting. What's happening in Ladakh is definitely a wonderful citizens' protest and their desire to protect their home habitat. Thank you, Subba. Anna, please continue.
Wonderful, wonderful, Anna. You have enlightened us. Himalayas speaking and complaining. Still, we don't learn. Subbarao-ji, please.
No, what I'm saying is nature is the greatest teacher. Nature is teacher. Okay.
Yeah.
The whole problem is we Homo sapiens lost all our senses, our observation senses, hearing senses, talking senses, and today common sense. So what through this episode, my request is, Himalayas have sent several signals. Hyderabad also is sending the signals. Bangalore has given the biggest signal. Today Bangalore, tomorrow we don't. The cities which emerged on the banks of rivers will perish with want of water if we don't listen to the nature and we don't follow the nature's designing philosophy. And this is what Dr. Sonam Wangchuk took a lead. And we, the naturalists or environmentalists, whatever, we are trying to sensitize the society on sustainable development. So let us all come together. Save the Himalayas, save the global crisis. Himalayas is the biggest, largest water reservoir, which provides water to more than 45% of the population of the world. Please seriously think of it and join the hands, express your solidarity to save the nature, save the Himalayas, save the humanity, save the global crisis. Thank you so much.
I wish to add just a little more. It's a wonderful appeal made by my friend Subba. What I feel is, at this point, we have to take into consideration the stamina of the people. Our friend in Ladakh, he is on an hunger strike. There are limits, physical limitations. You know, hunger strike, it's not a joke. Fasting, it takes away, weakens the person. Earlier, we had a great person, Professor G.D. Agarwal, who tried to save the Ganga at the origin itself.
Yes.
And unfortunately, he lost his life.
Yes.
One of the greatest knowledgeable person, Dr. Agarwal, and a dear friend of my friend, M.C. Mehta. We lost his precious life, which is, because of the indifference of political parties. I'm also surprised by the indifference of the Supreme Court of India. When people like us, environmentalists, or on behalf of the people, when public interest litigations are filed, we are happy when we get extraordinary orders, and the media covers Supreme Court, covers it very well. And people think that the Supreme Court is reaching out to the poorest of the people affected by pollution, marginalized, suppressed, displaced, oppressed, and so on. People denied of their fundamental rights. But in reality, why does the Supreme Court stop and think? Why does it think that its job is over by simply giving a judgment? How many times we, the people in this country, have brought it to the notice of the Supreme Court that their orders are not complied with? So they also need to rethink and come up and try to improvise the functioning of the Supreme Court itself. And therefore, environmental protection in this country which has virtually comes to a grinding halt, particularly in the context of globalization, privatization, liberalization. And the entire global economy is, governments and political parties, they appear to be in the service of the corporates. People are simply being left out. It is sometimes I'm so happy listening to the retired judges of the Supreme Court. They give extraordinary lectures on fundamental rights, but I don't see them standing for the oppressed and the poor, suppressed in the Supreme Court. I don't see these very well-known figures of the judiciary standing for the people who are affected by pollution. I strongly believe that the Supreme Court has to do solid homework, and they need to reinvent themselves and take it back to the times of what we call when Justice, like Kuldeep Singh and such M.M. Bhagavati and other Krishna Iyer, such people were there, it was wonderful. But recently, I can simply say that there has been a fall and a deep fall in the functioning of the Supreme Court. Thank you.
Yeah, echoing your this thing, Anna, recent electoral bonds, at least Supreme Court was very active. It gave a precise time for a State Bank of India and even Election Commission of India to make it public. Otherwise, they said we will initiate contempt proceedings. Why not they do it when it comes to environment? And
they are very selective. They are very selective, They are very selective. And most of what, if we look at the kind of judgments that have come up thanks to the people's struggles, I personally believe that it is an eyewash. And I'm willing to have a debate on this. Take the case of Patanjali. Thanks to MC Mehta, we got about 40 directions from the Supreme Court. And what is it we have achieved? Nothing. We are back to square one. And is the Supreme Court conscious of the plight of the people of Patanjali? So this lip sympathy for environment will not be. Right now, humanity is face to face with what is known as the sixth mass extinction. And a token, one single order here and there in the name of democracy. Why doesn't the Supreme Court question the permissible amount which the Lok Sabha candidates can spend in this election? Each candidate, it is more than 75 or 80 lakhs. How can a common man in this country afford to spend that kind of money?
Yes.
Come on, let there be a debate on it. Election Commission has raised the limit for the candidates. That nobody talks. About 80 lakhs per person, per candidate. Is it possible for any person who is honest and a genuine public servant? Where will he get the money? And we know in this country, people are not willing to contribute for a cause.
Anna, we lost in between.
No problem. Okay, copy.
Because they have removed power. Even when we are recording also. So go ahead, Anna. You are speaking. So in between those 2 minutes, and even after Congress government has come to the power, they are not able to manage the governance. That is why power goes on and off, and you have seen how corruption is ruling the roost of the day. They don't have any plans to govern properly. Yes, Anna, we'll finish it off. I think
Yeah, you see, my final appeal is, see, this Himalayan movement, Save the Himalayan movement, which started at different places of Himalaya. And now a convergence has happened at Ladakh. My appeal to all the environmentalists, naturalists who love this country, right from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, east to west, north to south, it's time that we should think, we should come out with a green manifesto for these coming elections, how they are going to integrate the natural process in the developmental activity. Everybody says, natural solutions, but we want to concretize everything, but never give a space for a 1 inch of natural element. We should understand environmentalists. Let us not talk of campaigns and startups. Start sensitizing the people on the fundamental functions of natural. Our development has to fall in line with the natural functions of the natural systems. Every day, even today, several villas have come up in 2 lakes.
yes.
We refuse to understand the natural functions of the natural system, be it water, be it air, be it space, energy. And Himalayan movement recalls all these things and makes us to realize the very fundamental principles of development falling in line with natural systems and ensure their natural functions even in the modern term. Thank you, sir.
Ladakh should be an eye-opener. The protest in Ladakh, the people movement in Ladakh should be an eye-opener for every Indian and for all those countries who still depend on Himalayas for a sustainable living. Otherwise, the formation, the mountains which are still, we say baby mountains in formation, if you try to disturb in the name of development, it will be only destruction, as Ladakh is trying to show to the world and India alike. Sir, please, you conclude, sir.
You see, sometimes, we Indians get emotionally diverted that Himalayas, Ladakh. As local people, Hyderabadis, can't we create a campaign for how do we redesign the Hyderabad, the regional ring roads, falling in line with the natural functioning systems of Telangana's natural resources?